They may not be your typical female protagonists, but that's why we love them.
The thought of busting Batman makes me feel all dirty.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we'll be counting down the top 10 female anti-heroes in movies.
How could you do that to me?
You said anything I need.
For this list, we're looking at female leads in movies that lack heroic or idealistic qualities that are usually present in protagonists.
What does that mean?
Number 10. Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, Batman Returns and The Dark Knight Rises.
You're catnip to a girl like me. Handsome, dazed, and to die for.
Directors Tim Burton and Christopher Nolan have both given their own unique interpretations of this iconic DC character.
There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne.
Played by Michelle Pfeiffer in Batman Returns and Anne Hathaway in The Dark Knight Rises, this jewel thief plays a game of cat and mouse with Batman before ultimately becoming an ally.
You got kind of a dark side, don't you?
No darker than yours, Bruce.
Smooth, badass, and always ready with a witty comeback, these iterations, though different, have the same moral complexity at their core.
You could have gone anywhere, did anything, but you came back here.
So did you.
Even though she's willing to kill and steal to get what she wants, she always ends up on the right side of things. But even if she didn't, we'd still love her.
I am Catwoman. Hear me roar.
Number 9. Kym Buchman, Rachel Getting Married.
When I was 16, I was babysitting my little brother, and I had taken all these Percocet, and I was unbelievably high.
From one Anne Hathaway performance to another, this Oscar-nominated turn sees her playing Kym, an addict attending her sister's wedding. She makes her family nervous, and it's not hard to see why.
You know, I can really see rehab has done wonders for you, Kym.
Her penchant for creating drama alienates her from others, as she continually lies to avoid responsibility for the problems that she's caused, particularly for the death of her brother.
Did I sacrifice every bit of love in this life because I killed our little brother?
Kym brings chaos with her to the family event, constantly engaging in arguments and trying to use her addiction to pull focus from her sister and her wedding.
Mom, you are not supposed to kill! What are you doing? Get off! God, Mom! No!
She's the catalyst of most of the family drama in the film, but you can't help but hope she'll find her way.
And I was wondering, have you ever thought about public relations?
The public's kind of afraid of me.
Number 8. Mavis Gary, Young Adult.
Sometimes, in order to heal, a few people have to get hurt.
You wouldn't expect a particularly ethical protagonist in a film about a woman trying to convince a man to cheat on his wife with her.
Buddy Slade and I are meant to be together. And I'm here to get him back.
Buddy Slade? All right. I'm pretty sure he's married with a kid on the way.
Mavis is a young adult ghostwriter whose series is coming to an end. And after discovering her ex-boyfriend is about to have a baby with his wife, she travels to her hometown to get him back. She's unapologetically selfish and shows a general lack of regard for those around her.
It really is a shame that you're like this, because you know what? If you had a good personality, none of this other stuff would bother people.
Charlize Theron isn't afraid to be raw and unlikable in the role, and that makes the character much more interesting.
Yeah, what are you doing back in Mercury? Or you move back, or?
Of course not. Gross.
The fact that she doesn't change her ways by the film's end makes her all the more realistic, brutal, and impossible to look away from.
Life, here I come.
Number 7. Veronica Sawyer, Heathers.
You a Heather?
No, I'm a Veronica Sawyer.
Heathers is one teen comedy that's not afraid to go dark, and that's all because of its killer protagonist, Veronica.
I just killed my best friend.
And your worst enemy.
Same difference.
Tired of being in the Heathers, the popular clique at her school, she finds a love interest in JD, a dark and mysterious boy who convinces her to play deadly pranks on popular students and frame them as suicides, which naturally becomes the new cool thing to do.
Betty Finn was a true friend, and I sold her out for a bunch of Swatch dogs and Diet Coke heads. Killing Heather'd be like offing the Wicked Witch of the West.
The film dares you to sympathize with such a morbid protagonist, and it's easy to understand why she hates her peers.
Heather, my love, there's a new sheriff in town.
She's likely one of the most sympathetic accomplices to murder that can be found in cinema.
If you were happy every day of your life, you wouldn't be a human being, you'd be a game show host.
Number 6. Carrie White, Carrie.
It's Carrie.
Carrie is your normal coming-of-age ugly duckling tale. Well, if it were written by Stephen King.
If I'd concentrate hard enough, I can move things.
One of his most memorable characters, we immediately feel sorry for this telekinetic high school outcast. given her abusive home life and constant bullying from other students. However, she reaches a lethal breaking point after a cruel prank involving pig's blood, and the phrase "seeing red" has never been quite so literal. While her climactic choice is far from a heroic one, considering the carnage she causes, her story stands as a statement that illustrates the horrifying results of bullying. Number 5. Jeanette Jasmine Francis, Blue Jasmine.
But I'm dead broke. Really, I mean, the government took everything.
To call this Cate Blanchett's best performance is really saying something, considering her expansive career. But that's exactly what this is.
There's only so many traumas a person can withstand till they take to the streets and start screaming.
Playing Jasmine, she is a woman who is forced to move in with her estranged sister after her wealthy husband is arrested for fraud.
One minute you're on top of the world, the next, guy turns out to be a crook.
Not used to a lifestyle without a surplus of money, she places herself above those she is surrounded by, taking every opportunity to condescend, complain, and cause drama.
Can you please not fight in here? I don't think I can take it. For some reason, my Xanax isn't kicking in.
Selfish, vindictive, and unwilling to adjust to a new lifestyle, she begins a slow downward spiral into madness, and it's all devilishly fun to watch unfold.
But that's all history, boys. I met someone. I'm a new person.
Number 4. Scarlett O'Hara, Gone with the Wind.
Great balls of fire. Don't bother me anymore and don't call me sugar.
Oh, all right.
The oldest film featured on our list by far, Scarlett is a privileged, self-serving woman who is thrust into unfamiliar territory by the American Civil War.
I can't think about this now. I'll go crazy if I do.
As she exclaims at the film's halfway point, she is willing to do anything to survive the ordeal, including backstabbing and manipulating others.
I'm going to live through this, and when it's all over, I'll never be hungry again. No, nor any of my folk. If I have to lie, steal, cheat, or kill.
Despite being married multiple times in the film, it's never for love, only for her self-interest. Daring to be a pragmatic and narcissistic woman in a time when women aren't often given power, she was early proof that viewers were willing to see complicated females on the big screen.
I can shoot straight. I don't have to shoot too far.
Number 3. Thelma Dickinson and Louise Sawyer, Thelma and Louise.
Get the car. Oh, Jesus Christ. Louise, you shot him.
In a film that received double nominations for Best Actress, Geena Davis and Susan Sarandon portrayed these classic movie ladies.
In the future, when a woman's crying like that, she isn't having any fun.
After Thelma is nearly raped outside of a bar, Louise shoots the man in an act of revenge, sending the two on the run.
Drive us to goddamn Mexico, will you? Okay.
They encounter various characters along their journey to Mexico, learning more about each other along the way. These heroines have been hailed as feminist icons for the strength that they find in one another, defying those who try to control them.
I had a suggestion that we go to the police, but you didn't like that, so frankly, Louise, I'm out of ideas.
Well, what's the big rush, Thelma? I mean, well, we give them enough time, they'll come to us.
One of cinema's strongest depictions of female friendship, these girls certainly made their mark on subsequent movie Antiheroes.
I don't remember ever feeling this awake. You know what I mean?
Number 2. Lisbeth Salander, the girl with the dragon tattoo franchise.
Det är något konstigt med hela Wennerström-affären.
Swedish author Stieg Larsson's gothic anti-heroine is a computer hacker who isn't afraid to go dark. On the contrary, it's where she thrives.
Why would a young lady like you want to know about such an awful murder?
It interests me.
She's developed a hard exterior from her abusive and traumatic background. But instead of letting that be a chip on her shoulder, she simply refuses to let anyone mess with her.
Du ska aldrig kontakta mig igen. Om du gör det kommer en kopia på vår lilla film att hamna hos polisen och på varenda tidningsredaktion över hela landet.
Should anybody make the mistake of crossing her, like her rapist guardian, they will be dealt with swiftly and decisively.
Lie still. I've never done this before. And there will be blood.
A complicated woman for sure, she is truly understandable despite her misgivings, especially as we see a bit of a softer side come through towards the end of the films.
I have good news now. I made a friend.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions.
You need some time to grow up a little.
Finish growing up, Leah. I just get older.
We don't know how far the ripples of our decisions go. Kill one, and maybe save 1,000. That's the code of the fraternity.
We could have a life, us two. Maybe not like I dreamed. Maybe not like you remember. But we could get by.
Number 1. Beatrix Kiddo, aka The Bride, Kill Bill franchise.
I am gonna kill Bill.
One of cinema's most badass protagonists was an easy choice for the top spot on this list.
Wiggle your big toe.
Heroes and villains are hard to define in the world of Quentin Tarantino, especially when one of his best heroes faces off against the Crazy 88 and kills most of them. Beatrix is more than a little peeved after being betrayed at her wedding by the Deadly Viper assassination squad, which includes her ex-lover, the titular Bill.
You and I have unfinished business.
Baby, you ain't kidding.
After being left for dead while pregnant, she sets out on a bloody path of vengeance. She's not without her integrity though, offering revenge to the daughter of one of her victims.
When you grow up, if you still feel raw about it, I'll be waiting.
Brave, complicated, and tough, there is definitely no superior anti-heroine.
You didn't think it was going to be that easy, did you? You know, for a second there? Yeah, I kind of did.
Do you agree with our list? Who's your favorite female anti-hero?
You're a piece of shit.
For more morally complex top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to MsMojo.
Shut up. Hot Probs is on.